Let's take it A&M. It's Mike Oko's first year as a head coach out at the 12th man. Let's take a quick gander at this schedule, right? All right. First name off the list, obviously, Notre Dame. Tough way to start the season. But then you kind of look through it. You got Missouri. You got LSU. You got both of those at home. I think that's a big deal. And then other than that, you got Texas to finish off the year that I think is going to be a big threat. Obviously, A&M, kind of little man syndrome a little bit when you talk about Texas coming in the SEC and, A&M obviously behind the eight ball a little bit. Even though they've been in the conference a little longer, they've obviously got the first-year head coach. So,
hey, and speaking of that, what did you think about Texas A&M and SEC Media Days, kind of the way that they came out, man?
I didn't watch it, so I'm not going to speak too heavily on it. I've heard things from, obviously, some shows that I listen to, but I heard that they didn't really handle it the right way, per se, but that's all I'll say about it. I mean, I don't know.
They did not they did not talk to anybody on Radio Row there at SEC Media Days. They kind of just did the bare minimum. They talked to the Texas A&M media there. They didn't talk to anybody else outside of it.
Their egos hurt, man. Come on.
I mean, it was a definite chance for them to be like, hey, we're the established team from Texas in the Southeastern Conference, and you just kind of let Texas make you into little brother once again, just like they were. Like they were in the Big 12.
Well, I mean, let's talk about it just for a split second. I mean, for the timing of this to happen, you're hoping at this point Jimbo's your guy. Probably already got you into an SEC championship at least once by now.
Yep.
You're thinking that you're rolling. You had the number one recruiting class in 2021 or 2022. You're bringing in all this talent. You're feeling really good about. And obviously, back then you didn't know that Texas was coming in, but then you did. You found out. And then Jimbo had a really bad year last year. I say really bad. What did they go? 7-5, 6-6, 5-7. I don't know. I can't remember. But I remember them not taking advantage against us. We had a terrible day against A&M offensively, and they couldn't take advantage of it. Now, obviously, they had some injuries to the quarterback. But look, you talk about football, their situation. You talk about baseball. You want to talk about that touchy subject that just happened not too long ago? Yeah. I mean, we're talking the day after the World Series, and Texas snatches Schlossenberger and then takes the entire staff with him. And what really hurts me for the team is the fact that he didn't even talk to the players about it. I mean, left them stone cold. You had guys that were bought in, trying to recruit guys into your team was trying to recruit for you. And then you left them high and dry, and then now the entire team's at the portal. It's crazy how this whole A&M Texas drama has kind of laid out.
Yeah, and Skeeter says it perfectly. The hate from them for Texas is real. So much to the point that not saying it's going to happen, but there's rumors floating around that Texas A&M is going to make a jump to the Big Ten the first chance that they get.
And I can't blame them. I mean, the SEC's kind of smacked them in the mouth too. I mean, like obviously they're making moves that's going to benefit the conference. A&M can either nut up and shut up and do something about it, or they can leave. I mean, if they want to take the easy route and leave, I don't think that's a good look on Texas A&M personally.
It would be the second time they've done it, because that's exactly what they did when they made the move from the Big 12 to the SEC.
Yeah.
And now that Texas has joined the SEC, they're just going to run away to the Big 10. I mean, it's not going to be a good look.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think that game in November it may not be pretty. I mean, it's going to be hostile. I mean, you talk about the 12th man coming with a vengeance. Let Texas A&M go into that game 8-3 or 7-4. Let them have like some sort of chance that they think that they have a shot in that game, especially with it being at home. Honestly, they probably don't even need that. They could be 4-7, I guess, at that point after 11 games. And I still think the 12th man would be pretty rough for that Texas welcoming back after what has it been? I mean, it's been over a decade, right?
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, it's been a while. But anyways, let's get into this thing, man. I want to talk about it. Obviously, you got quarterback back and healthy, Connor Wegman. You got a running back in Le'Veon Moss. One thing A&M's always had speed.
Yep.
And they're going to have plenty of that this year, even though they went through the coaching change.
You do lose a nice Smith.
I'm sorry. I got sidetracked by this comment because I agree with this. I guess this is kind of what I'm going at. Like, you remember Tennessee Ole Miss a couple years ago?
Yep.
You could see something like that, but probably even worse. I mean, honestly, like, I hope not. I hope everybody stays safe. But I mean, Like, honestly, it could be ugly. But no, yeah, you got Anaya Smith. I think that's who you mentioned. We talk about some wide receivers. They bring back some guys. J.D. Walker, you got Noah Thomas, Moose Muhammad, and then they brought in a ton of transfers in that wide receiver room. Really excited to kind of see what they do. I mean, a bunch of question marks, obviously, but A&M, like I said, they always had speed, and they're going to have speed.
And under Mike Elko, the defense is going to be good. He is a defensive-minded guy. The defense of Texas A&M will be good, and it hasn't been bad. Even under Jimbo, it hasn't been bad. But it's definitely going to be a good defense this year.
Yeah, Dino feeling optimistic about our boys. But no, like the defensive end brought in a Purdue transfer, and Nick Scorton, I think is how you say his last name. Got a lot of transfers on defense. Too many to really go through, but. I think Mike Elko's put his team in a position to be competitive this year, and so I'm going to start this thing off. I mean, August 31st against Notre Dame, I'm going to watch that game 100%. Yes. I think that's kind of a headliner game to start the season.
College game day will be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like an SEC Nation is going to be at the other game that I'm definitely going to watch, and that's Miami, Florida. I want to see that game. But I do think A&M falls short. I know they get that game at home, which is awesome. But I think Notre Dame's too established at this point for Mike Elko's squad to kind of come in and maybe it's a close game, but I just don't see them pulling out that win just yet. So I have them losing the first game of the year. But then they get McNeese at home, and that's a win. They go to Florida at the Swamp. That is not friendly. But I do actually think A&M pulls out the win there. I think that's their first big win of the season for Mike Elko. Obviously starts the SEC year 1-0. And I think that would be big going forward as they beat Bowling Green the third Saturday in September. And then, not that that's a robbery or anything, just pointing it out that it's 9/21. And then they welcome Arkansas. Actually, I believe, is Arkansas not a neutral?
It's a neutral site game in Arlington, Dallas, whatever you want to call it.
It's kind of a home game for them, but whatever. I've got them beating Arkansas. So we're talking, you drop the first game. And then you go undefeated in September. I think that's huge. I think that's kind of taking advantage of the schedule that you're handed before they, I think, welcome in they welcome in Missouri to the 12th man. I think Missouri's just too stout this year. I think they pick up the win there, and I think Texas A&M drops that game. But that's okay. They will quickly correct the things after a bye week, and they go to Mississippi State, and I do think they pick up that win there. And then they welcome LSU. This is a big kind of swing game for me. LSU's got some questions, but again, they also have some good returning talent. I still think at the end of the day, LSU's a little bit too strong for A&M and Mike Elko's first year, so they dropped that one. Moving right along, you go at South Carolina. I don't know what I think about South Carolina. I really don't, but give me A&M in that game. I'd trust it. I think Mike Elko, like I said, he's going to have a lot of close games this year. I think he picks up a win. That's a big away game, too. New Mexico State, that's a win. And then, unfortunately, they go at Auburn, at Jordan-Hare, and I think they're thinking about Texas too much in this game. I think they drop one to Auburn. Hugh Freeze. I think Hugh Freeze has got that team rolling in the right direction. And then I think they drop one to Texas as well. Finished the year 7-5 in Mike Elko's first year, which, funny enough, that was Jimbo's best year. So there you go. Look at there. Finishing 4-4 in the SEC. That was a joke, by the way. Somebody's going to take that seriously and think that I didn't do my research. But anyways, Texas A&M, in my opinion, 7-5 year, Mike Elko's first year. And I think they're competitive in a lot of these games. I think that's a solid foundation, a solid start to his tenure.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a fantastic view of the schedule for Texas A&M this year.
Getting a little excited there.
Yeah. I think that this is a very realistic expectation for Texas A&M looking at it. And a little spoiler alert, mine's going to look very similar to yours.
Hey, we're doing something right then. Full disclosure, we don't talk about this before we go live. So just want everybody to know that. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, mine's going to look very similar. I'll go ahead and reset it here. You know, the first Saturday of the regular season against Notre Dame. They do get Notre Dame at home. Mike Elko going to go up against his former quarterback, Riley Leonard, at Notre Dame.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a great storyline.
Yeah. So ultimately, I do think, just like you said, Notre Dame is going to be a little bit too much for Texas A&M in this game. I like what Marcus Freeman is doing out there at Notre Dame. Will it translate to what Notre Dame wants to get back to? Still yet to be determined. But I do like what Marcus Freeman is doing out there. I think this is going to be a very close game. But I think Notre Dame does come into College Station and pull this one out. McNeese in week 2, that's going to be a win for A&M. At Florida, I feel like this is going to be a swing game for both teams this year. This is going to be an absolute must-win for Billy Napier. The game is in the Swamp. If you want to have a chance of saving your season as head coach at Florida, you've got to beat Texas A&M. This is a game that I think is going to determine a little bit of the direction that Texas A&M is going to go this year. I think that Texas A&M does waltz into the Swamp, pulls out a close victory to go 2-1 to start the year. You do get Bowling Green in week 4. You're going to get a win there. Playing Arkansas in AT&T Stadium, I think that Texas A&M is going to win here, and I think it's going to be by at least 2 touchdowns.
I don't know what to think of. I mean, I don't know what to think of Arkansas. You know about Sam Pittman, all the storylines about him. Does he correct something? Is there a magic potion between him and Bobby Petrino that wasn't there between Bobby Petrino and Jimbo? Like, I mean, I don't know. But right now, based off what we know as just common fans of Tennessee, we don't obviously dive deep into these teams. But I just don't see a big turnaround with Arkansas. So that's why I don't see even in their first year head coach, I still think they got more talent than Arkansas, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Going into the, let's see, did I not click? There we go. I thought I clicked on. Yeah. Going into the game against Missouri, I don't know what the schedule is like this week, but this has got a chance of possibly being a college game day spot. You know, you got a 4-1 Texas A&M team going into a game against probably undefeated Missouri. I don't have the schedule for Missouri in front of me. I forget who they play. I know
at the most maybe 1 loss Missouri as well, right?
Yeah, I mean first 4 weeks of the season are an absolute joke for Missouri, but I do know that much.
Hey, easy. We got one. We're trying to piss off a guy in the comment section.
Yeah, but I do think that because of the returning talent that Mizzou brings back this year, I think they go into College Station, they steal a win there to remain undefeated. There's going to be Texas A&M's second loss of the season. Mississippi State, I mentioned in the Mississippi State prediction that I feel like this is a game that, depending on how Mississippi State's season is going, could very well go Mississippi State's way. What did Skeeter say here?
He finished it for us.
There we go.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree with you on Mississippi State, man. I have no idea. Jeff Lebby could be having that thing rolling down there in his first year as well.
Yeah, so I think this is the real swing game for Texas A&M.
Oh yeah,
I think that LSU is a good pick as well. You picked them as a swing game. I think this one, as long as Mississippi State's schedule or season goes the way that I predicted it, I think this is the swing game on the schedule. Because Mississippi State wins this one, if they take care of business the way that I have them predicted, that could be their 7th win of the year.
Yeah.
By the time it's all said and done. So I
think the true swing game by definition would have to be Florida, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But I do feel like at the end of the day, LSU, Mississippi State being right there in the middle of the schedule, you kind of can get the feeling of if this is going to be a winning season or not, even though they've already got the 4 wins by that point, obviously, according to both of our predictions. But, that's what I meant by swing game. I think that's kind of what you're getting at in a swing game as well, right?
Yeah. I do have Texas A&M going into Starkville and getting a win here.
Yeah.
I think the game is close, though. I really do. LSU, this is going to be a big game for both of these teams as well. I'll kind of break this down a little bit more when we get to the LSU prediction after this. I do have LSU winning the game, though. But I want to wait till we get to the LSU prediction and kind of break that down, my reasoning behind it.
We got some beef in the comments. I live for this. I live for it. Logan comes in, chimes in, and says Missouri got carried by Cody Schrader. Not wrong, but they also have other guys. Let's be real. He said if they can contain the run attack from Missouri, anyone is dropping 50 on them. Now you got to be honest. You got to understand that Cody Schrader is no longer there. So who's going to replace him? But man, that wide receiver Luther Burden and Brady Cook, they still put in work. Now I think that opened up because of what Cody Schrader did. But I
Now look,
I love it, dude.
I want to save that comment right there.
Yeah,
and I want to talk about it whenever we get to A&M.
I'm ready for Skeeter to reply to it.
Yeah.
Anyways, you keep going. I don't want to get sidetracked again, but that was great.
Yeah. No, you're good. But I want to save that comment and talk about it when we do Missouri, because I've got some thoughts on it as well. Let's see. Going down the line, South Carolina at South Carolina. I don't think it's close. I think A&M wins. I'm not a fan of South Carolina this year, especially after hearing some of Shane Beamer's comments at SEC Media Days. So I really don't think South Carolina is going to be good this year. Texas A&M gets a win there. New Mexico State. That could be a tough game. We saw with we saw with Auburn last year.
Come on,
that's why I was getting at.
Good. Vanderbilt's going to be good because they got that quarterback.
Yeah, so. That's what I was going to say. Diego's gone, so easy win for A&M in this one. This is where we're different. I think that Auburn is going to be falling off the rails at this point. I don't know their schedule off the top of my head.
Falling off the rails, brother. That's not what Hugh Freeze wants to hear in year 2, brother.
And Hugh Freeze was not very confident going into media days. He wasn't his flamboyant self.
That's Hugh Freeze, bro. He's mad. He's actually mad that he took the Auburn job to play Nick Saban. And then 1 year after dang near beating him, Nick Saban's like, nah, I'm going to end it on a win. So, you got to feel for Hugh Freeze because I think that is exactly why he took the Auburn job, right?
It could be, yeah.
I think it's a lot why he wanted that job. But, it is what it is. I understand there. But Logan chimes in and says he's the exact opposite of you. He says he sees Auburn routing first-year head coach Mike Oko. It is at Auburn, dude. I don't think it'll be a rout. But it is crazy stuff that happens in Jordan Hare.
Yeah, Jordan Hare is going to be a big advantage for Auburn, but I don't know where Auburn's going to be at that point in the season. And I'm not I pulled up the wrong graphic there. I pulled up your graphic for that. I think Texas A&M gets the win there, but I'm not too trustworthy of what's his name, Peyton Thorne at the moment. So we'll see with that. Ultimately,
you got Texas winning right there, right? Yeah. So you got A&M going 8-4 in their first year. That is a solid. But now again, that's taking advantage. A&M got a pretty good draw this year.
Look, there is 3 names on the schedule that we're not seeing. There's no Alabama. There's no Georgia. There's no Ole Miss on this schedule. That's 3 of probably the top 5 teams in the SEC.
Yeah, I was about to say no Tennessee either. I mean, you got Missouri and LSU, who may be 2 of the top 6, 2 of the top 7 teams. You got a very good draw here. A&M's got to do them. And who knows? Literally, who knows? They could get one over to Notre Dame. I mean, what if they're not that great this year? I don't know, but I think Marcus Freeman does have that team rolling. So you got them going 8-4. I've got them going 7-5 overall, floor and ceiling, and then we'll move on to the next team, which is what Logan wants to know, and that is LSU. We're going to talk LSU here in a little bit, but floor and ceiling for A&M.
All right, my ceiling for A&M this year is going to be 11-1. That is if everything goes right. Look, I think that you drop the game to Texas. I think Texas is a little bit too much, but I can absolutely see a win against Notre Dame. You get Missouri and LSU both at home, and Missouri is a fantastic team. Can A&M have something for them? Maybe. We'll see whenever we get to that point of the schedule. LSU, is LSU going to be able to stop A&M? I mean, A&M doesn't have a high-powered offense, but where is LSU on defense, man?
It's Brian Kelly. They're not going to stop water from touching a boat, dude. It's just not going to happen. LSU is just going to have the firepower on offense, which I think they could have, but they had it last year too. So, oh man, this was an awesome comment by Logan. I mean, it's never going to happen, but he said we need you guys on the Vol Radio full time. That is possibly the highest compliment we could have. because we are just two nothing football fans that just wanted to start a podcast, and we made it this far. We still got a long way to go, but man, we appreciate you tuning in, and this is what it's all about, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Floor for A&M this year. Let's see. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. All right, floor for A&M, I think could be the absolute opposite. I think you could pull out a win against McNeese, Bowling Green, Arkansas, and New Mexico State.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put South Carolina in there too. I don't think that A&M loses South Carolina. So I'm going to say 5-7 is going to be the floor for A&M
you got
this
a pretty
year.
big window, and that's fair because it's first year head coach. You have no. I'm trying to stay serious here because we got some drama brewing in the comments. Skeeter said, "I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for when I come on." Yeah, and then he said, "Drink and turn my 7-toed self into 700." All right, dude. Hey, look, I'm so glad he can laugh about it, man. Because there's no way I want to go through it, But no, man, I think you're right. I think the floor is 5-7. Yeah, I mean, because I can let me count the guaranteed wins here. You got McNeese, Bowling Green. I'd love to say Arkansas is a guaranteed win. You never want to say an SEC team's a guaranteed win because you never know. And then I'm going to throw in New Mexico State. So that's 4 that I feel really good about. South Carolina, man, they're an established team. I mean, Beamer's in his 4th season now, right? Maybe-ish. So they are an established team. I think they pull one from South Carolina, from Auburn, from maybe Mississippi State. Obviously, I feel pretty good about that one too. So, I mean, I see 5 wins some way, some form, some fashion. But I think their ceiling, man, I think their ceiling's only 8-4. Man, I think they for sure probably lose to Missouri. Excuse me. I think they for sure lose to Missouri. I think they lose one of Florida, Notre Dame, and I think they lose to LSU and obviously Texas. So I can't have them going anything more than 9-3. So that's where we are. That's where we are, and that's gonna wrap it up for our schedule predictions for A&M, the Texas Aggies, who have kind of been put through the ringer here later.